Hey everyone, what is going on? Today I'm going to be talking to new comedians who have done a handful of gigs, or those of you who are still thinking about giving it a go. I'm going to give you my top 10 tips on how you can smash those beginning few gigs in your comedy career. As always, I will go into detail on each tip. There's a lot of information coming your way on this video. Do feel free to pause and rewind so you do not miss out. We are getting it started right now. Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Talk Comedy. I am thrilled to see you returning to check out these videos. We are just over 1 week old and already a small community is being built, and that makes me feel fantastic. This channel is where we discuss comedy and performance theory, from writing skills, performance skills, and everything else in between. Today we are talking to those of you who are new to performing. Maybe you've just done a handful of gigs and are looking for some ways you can improve. Or maybe you haven't had the confidence just yet to perform for your very first time. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my top 10 tips for open mic performance. I've got a few messages from people asking how to get the first few gigs. Well, before we get on to the top 10 list, here is already a bonus tip for you. The number one place to get the gigs at the beginning is definitely Facebook. If you have not got a Facebook account, you need to get on there now, even if it's just to get those gigs. Sign on, search in the group section for any comedy events happening near you, and get involved in the conversation, and it won't be long before you have a list of possible venues you can perform open mic comedy at. Every open mic has a different vibe to it, from the types of people who attend to how long they run for. You may be on a bill where there's musicians and comedians or any other variety act. And of course, all of these things can have an effect on how positively or negatively your set goes. However, you don't need to worry about any of that just yet. Grab a paper and pen, because here we go with the 10 top tips for open mic performance. Tip number 1, book yourself onto 3 open mic gigs. Certainly, if you've never performed before, you want to book on to 3 gigs. Here's why. You might not perform well at your first gig, and that's perfectly fine. I know I didn't, and it took me quite a while to do so. But by having 2 or 3 gigs lined up, well, you don't spend that much time focusing on the negative experience you had at the first one. Instead, you're too busy rewriting and getting focused for the next gig. So make yourself busy and get 3 gigs done as soon as you possibly can. Out of the 3 gigs, you will probably find that 1 will be rubbish, 1 will be fine, and another one, which will be your favorite one, you will actually think you performed rather well at. And that is the gig you return to do your 4th set. Tip number 2, perform 30 seconds less than the time you are given. If they give you 5 minutes, perform for around 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That means you're going to have around 4 minutes and 30 seconds of material learnt off. Nobody likes it when another act overruns their given time. No matter how well you perform it does leave a bad taste in other people's mouth, especially with the other comedians. And at this early stage in your career, it's very important you get involved in the community and don't burn a few bridges by overrunning your set. Doing 30 seconds or less also gives you more time to play with and enjoy your material. There is no point in rushing. You can relax. There's no need to cram in all your jokes towards the end of the set. And not only does it give you time to think about your material, it gives the audience time to open up to who you are and what you're about. Who knows, you might just smash it out the park. And of course, you want to give your audience the time to enjoy what it is you are doing. Tip number 3. Do not perform offensive material. Offensive material does not work for new comedians. Now, I know there's going to be a few of you out there that are absolutely crushed by this, but it is true. If you want to be received well through your first few gigs, then leave the offensive material out of your set for as long as you can. Nobody likes it when negative energy is created in the room. It's unfair to the other acts, the audience, and it's very difficult for the MC to bring the correct energy back again. Instead, create material that's easy to remember, expresses who you are and what you're about. It's your time up there. People want you to do well. Do yourself a favor and give them your best rather than your worst. Not only will they appreciate you more, but you'll be happier. There is nothing worse than doing a joke you knew wasn't going to work for it not to work. Give them what they want, the best of you, and become magnetic on stage. Number 4, do not drink alcohol before performing. This one I've seen backfire many times. Comedians turning up with notepad in hand, figuring out exactly what it is they're going to say, how they're going to say it, and then start drinking. When they get on stage, they've had so much drink they can't even speak, and all the hard work has been for nothing. If you absolutely must have a drink, then have one light beer, but don't ruin the night on yourself. The last thing you want to happen is to wake up the next day and barely remember the embarrassment that took place on stage the night before. Leave the drink till after you perform and there will be a lot more to celebrate. Tip number 5, don't pace with the microphone. Nobody wants to have to continuously turn their head left to right to see where you are when you're performing. It comes across not only that you're nervous, but also that you just cannot wait to get out of there. And in fact, it looks like you just want to run away. It's fine to move a little on your feet, but you should stay roughly at the same spot from when you first grabbed the microphone. Open mic gigs tend to have a very small stage, if they have a stage at all. And if there is a spotlight, it's in one space. So by you pacing back and forth, in and out of the light, you are only letting your audience see you momentarily, which obviously is not what you want. When you take the mic, have a moment to breathe, relax, find your position, and face your audience. By facing them, you will show confidence, and they do appreciate that. In return, they will listen intently. Number 6, focus on being likable. This is one of the most important tips on the entire list. If an audience likes you, they will laugh with you. Charm them, create material that warms people. You can do this in any style with any personality. They want to hear your story, and everyone has a different story to tell in a different way. And everyone can be likable on stage. That is the absolutely amazing thing about what it is you are setting out to do. Focus on being likable. Being likable at the beginning of your career is a lot more important than getting laughs, because once achieved, the laughs will come a lot faster and harder. If you are liking this video, please do hit the button. It makes me feel great to get the positive feedback. Here is tip number 7. Start your set with hello, maybe even followed by your name. This is the best way to start your set, certainly at your first few gigs. Hello, my name is. That's it. It sounds very simple, but it works. You don't want to have the beginning of your set get going too quick and leave your audience confused. Whatever style of comedian you are, you can even address that at the beginning as well. If you're a one-liner comic, you can say, hello, my name is, and I'm a one-liner comedian. And then start your set just like that. It gives the audience a brief bit of time to get used to how you sound on the microphone. It also gives you some time just to get used to the audience, the microphone, the lights, all of these things which are going to be a factor when you first hit that stage. Tip number 8. Tell them how many gigs you have done. If you are on your 5th gig or under, you definitely want to mention how many you've done. I have never seen this fail, and it usually gets a very supportive round of applause from the audience, because everyone knows just how difficult it is to perform for the first few times. Hearing the round of applause from the audience will relax you a bit. You will realize that they are rooting for you. They want you to do well. I've noticed that audiences really perk up when they realize someone's on stage for the first few times. It's like they're nearly living through you and they really want you to do well. Some of them might even be thinking about giving performing a go themselves. And by you following what's on this list, using it, smashing your set, you might just inspire them to take the leap. Tip number 9. Got it. Watch the entire show. Make sure to watch the entire show. Open mic gigs depend on the support from the acts and the audience combined. You should be performing and in attendance because you truly love the art of stand-up comedy. It's never received well when an act leaves a show just after they've performed. It shows lack of respect for the show and the other acts. This is also your chance to watch as many acts as you possibly can and certainly learn from all of them. You never know what you're going to see at an open mic, and sometimes pro comedians turn up to try out new material. What better chance of you getting to watch a pro comic try out new material? Make sure to enjoy the entire experience, from performing your own set to watching your new community do what you all love the most. You know what I love the most? Whenever I get a little notification letting me know someone has subscribed to the channel. Hit that button so you never miss out and we both live a little happier. Here's tip number 10. Record your set. You should record every performance you do. Being able to look back at your set and watch how it all went down is the best way of improving. I know it's difficult to watch footage of yourself, certainly if you're not used to it. You won't recognize your voice and you'll probably hate what you see. Everybody goes through that, but the sooner you get used to watching yourself on camera, the quicker you will improve. Also, it's lovely to have footage to look back on, especially of your first few gigs, whether you're pursuing comedy for a career or just a hobby. It's much better to have a bad performance recorded that you could just delete than it is to have a fantastic experience not recorded and lost forever. Ladies and gentlemen, it does not end there. I am going to give you a bonus tip. This one you've heard before and you will hear again, but I got to say it. Practice, practice, practice. You need to have your set learned off by heart. You do not want to have to think about what to say while you're on stage. When you're on stage, you should be focusing on your audience and performing to your best ability. Therefore, everything you say should be learnt off and learnt off and learnt off. Say it out loud as often as you can. Include the pauses. Notice the phrases and how you say certain sections. The more you practice, the more confident you will be on stage. It is that simple. Those are my top 10 tips to get you smashing those first few gigs. Book yourself onto 3 gigs and get writing that set. The more you follow this list, the better you will do at those gigs. And when you take that leap and perform, please report back here. Let me know how it all went down in the comment section. There are so many other thoughts I could have put on a list, and perhaps I will readdress this topic in a future episode. If you have any tips you are currently following, please do let me know what they are in the comment section, and I will jump on there and we can discuss it further. In the meantime, feel free to dive into further tutorial videos by clicking any of the links on your screen right now. Go smash those gigs. Right on.